Hi guys, it's Alex here. Back in 2021, Elon Musk was asked by Zach on Twitter what he thinks about the economy. When do you think the next recession will be? Elon Musk replies, predicting macroeconomics is challenging, to say the least. My gut feeling is maybe around spring or summer 2022, but not later than 2023.
But ironically, I did last year. People asked me what I think about the economy. I said, well, I think we might enter a recession in approximately spring of 2022.
Called it. Nailed it.
And he was spot on. Now let's look at the whole part of this interview because he said some interesting stuff.
Elon, shifting gears to the economy, we saw this surprise report of negative 1.4% GDP growth in Q1. Interest rates have been rising. That increased the cost to the consumer of getting loans, things like that. We've had a stock market correction, really a crash in a lot of growth stocks, software stocks. From where you sit and the data that you see, where do you think the economy is headed right now? Do you think we're in a recession, or is it just a risk? How do you assess our current economic situation?
Well, predicting macroeconomics is always difficult, and one should assign probabilities to these things. But ironically, I did last year. People asked me what I think about the economy. I said, well, I think we might enter a recession in approximately spring of 2022.
Called it. Nailed it.
Now the thing is that recessions are not necessarily a bad thing. I've now been through a few of them, and what tends to happen is if you have a boom that goes on for too long, you get misallocation of capital. It starts raining money on fools, basically. It's like any dumb thing gets money, and I'm sure you've seen a few of those. At some point, it gets just out of control, and you just have a misallocation of human capital, where people are doing things that are silly and not useful to their fellow human beings. And then those companies, there needs to be sort of an economic enema, if you will, to have everyone sort of shift uncomfortably in their seats. But the
I'm sorry, it's just I'm visualizing it. The economic enema.
I mean, listen, it's got alliteration.
This too shall pass.
This too shall pass. Eventually, the economic enema does its job. It clears out the pipes, if you will.
Yes.
and sort of the bullshit companies go bankrupt, and the ones that are doing useful products are prosperous. But there's certainly a lesson here that if one is making useful product and has a company that makes sense, make sure you're not running things too close to the edge from a capital standpoint, that you've got some capital reserves to last through irrational times. Because in the past, when there's been a recession, it has gone. It's amazing. It's flipped like a light switch. I mean, David, do you remember this from the PayPal, ex-PayPal days, when we raised $100 million in March of 2000, and we had the demand was so high, we had people like VCs like just literally without even a term sheet wiring money into our account.
We'll send the term sheet later.
they literally would like sleuth out our bank account number and wire money in. And we're like, where'd this come from? And it's like, so it was like there was literally fire hosing money in March of 2000. And then in April 2000, the market went into free fall, and it went from raising money was trivial to even good companies could not raise money in a month. So it's just important to bear in mind, like that, PayPal almost went bankrupt in 2000. We came close, but thankfully we'd raised that $100 million in March 2000, without which we would be in game over, basically. And we kind of saw it coming. So it's like we got the X-Confinity merger done in like 3 weeks and raised $100 million because we were like, we see this coming to an end pretty soon. And then a month later, it was like, a nightmare, basically. Anyway, so it's just important to make sure if you're a healthy company, you got some capital to get through things. And then what's your costs? And if it is a recession, which more likely than not it is a recession. I'm not saying it is, but it probably is. Then just watch your cash flow and get to positive cash flow as soon as you can. But I think we probably are in a recession, and that recession will get worse. But these things pass, and then there will be boom times again. So it'll probably be some tough going for, I don't know, a year, maybe 12 to 18 months is usually the amount of time that it takes for a correction to happen. I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah. David, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it started. What started as a slowdown earlier this year now seems like, I mean, technically, I guess we need 2 quarters of negative growth to be in a recession, but it feels like we're in one. It feels like it started. The growth stock, the software businesses that we invest in are sort of the canaries in the coal mine. And there's a lot of dead canaries. Maybe not dead, but
they're having a hard time breathing.
Yeah,
I'm not dead yet.
It's not dead. It's just napping. It's
napping. Wake up, little birdie.
Wake up.
It's
just lie.
It's just stunned. It got stunned for a brief moment, and it'll be fine. It sort of reminds me of the parrot, the Pet Shop sketch with the parrot with Monty Python.
Yes, Monty Python.
Where it's pining. This parrot is pining for the fjords.
If you like this video, please smash that like button and subscribe. See you next time.